Thousands had taken to the streets to demand the government tackle the armed brigades that roamed the city. They said they wanted to save Benghazi, but as night fell, the protesters took matters into their own hands. They first headed towards one of the bases of Ansar al-Sharia, a group of fighters suspected by many here of being behind the attack on the U.S. consulate and several other violent incidents since the downfall of Gaddafi. They tore down the group's banner while chanting, "No, no to the brigades," and entered a compound which was previously home to the internal security of Gaddafi's regime.
Perhaps knowing that this could happen after the protest, the base had been evacuated. When the protesters came in, they didn't find anyone. Now the National Army and the police have taken over.
There was an air of both defiance and celebration on the streets. But then, things took a turn for the worse. The protesters headed towards another base, this one under control of a group known as the Rafallah Sahati Brigade. It's one of the most powerful in Benghazi and comes under the command of the Defense Ministry. The standoff turned violent.
At the beginning they were shooting in the air, but then they started to aim at the protesters. None of the protesters was armed.
The shooting was coming from one side only, from inside the base. People were saying that they shot because they have weapons inside. They have no right to shoot at civilians.
As the wounded began arriving at the local hospital, nearly all said that the first bullets were fired from inside the brigade's base. The government has put the blame on Gaddafi loyalists intent on bringing chaos to the city that sparked the revolution. The protesters remain committed that they want the armed fighters off the streets, even the ones that are so-called legal. Hoda Abdel-Hamid, Al Jazeera, Benghazi.